And now to discuss this apparent cracks within the APC, Taiwo Olakpade joins me now in the studio. He's a public affairs analyst. Very much welcome, Mr. Taiwo Olakpade.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. And now, I'm going to start off by quoting that Professor Ajimbe and his group made some very strong statements, and they recently said that, okay, let me just leave the quote out, but can you help us understand why the former ANPP bloc feels so sidelined within the APC?
Well, excuse me, thank you very much. Let me just simply say that what is coming out from political arena at the moment is just pure politics. It's just pure politicking that is unfolding ahead of 2027 presidential election. And I'm not surprised, as a watcher in that space, in that political space, as someone who also have monitored election for ages, for decades, and also very close to the political cycle in the country. I'm not surprised, and this is also not unexpected as we build up to 2027 presidential election. I'll also quickly touch on, you recall that a few weeks ago, our two former SGM, not the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir Lawal, and this other one, Boss Mustafa, also, they came out to say that President Bola Tinubu did not win the election for former president, now late Muhammadu Buhari, that Buhari already had about 12 million standing votes, and the contribution of Tinubu was just about 2 million or 2.3 million thereabout plus. But if my memory also serves me right, Buhari contested on several occasions that he did not win. It was on the fourth attempt that eventually, this coalition, the coalition of the APC, and because of the prominent role played by the current president, Bola Tinubu, that's what gave him the victory. But already, so that's why I said what we are hearing now did not start today. It started way back. And if you permit me, it's just like trying to also demystify that it wasn't Tinubu that assisted the late president to win that election back to back. Even when, after winning in 2015, about 2 years into that administration, at the point they fell out. But when 2019 approached, the former president also romanced Tinubu again, and he also returned to them, and the rest, they say, is history. So for the faction of the ANPP and even the CPC in the current leadership of the All Progressive Congress now talking about the fact that, and specifically, they're also saying that the president must retain the current Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima, that it should be a joint ticket, come 2027. But we have also heard that, of course, that the Congress of the APC will first elect the president, that whoever emerges as the president will now decide who will run as joint ticket. But already we know the party politics among Nigerian politicians and the like. But all these games are just for each of them for their selfish interests, not particularly in the overall interest of we Nigerians. So I'm not surprised that they're also playing these cards ahead of 2027 elections.
So I'm glad that you talked about the ticket for the vice presidency, because the group has also insisted that the vice presidential slot should remain within the ANPP, and they even called it non-negotiable. What is the historical and political reasoning behind that demand?
Well, the bottom line is, whether we like it or not, even recently, some people are already saying that the president is likely to drop his vice, but we also saw the way the president also gave accolades to Senator Kashim Shettima, his vice, during the emergency neck meeting of the All Progressive Congress that took place right there in the presidential villa. He commended him openly. So that shows that the rumor mongering that there is no love lost, that they are not in good terms, I think for that pronouncement, open pronouncement, and open accolades, poured on the vice president shows that all these years saying are just like social media talk, if I can put it that way. The president has not come out in a definite term that my vice is not going to run with me. It's just all these political permutations. But whether you like it or not, just like I said, our crop of politicians that we have now, they think first about themselves. And the president is also not excluded in this game, because it will always, you can see the Muslim ticket. It was as if it was not going to fly in 2023. But because the party hierarchy leadership thought or felt like this is the way we can win that ticket, eventually they won. So if the president so desire that I will run this ticket again with my vice and I will win, so be it. You know, so be it. So this calculation or this comment as regards, if you don't give it to him, we will pull out. If you don't do this, we will. I think that is more like a threat to Mr. President. And you don't issue a threat to particularly a sitting president. We also gathering momentum in terms of, you know how many numbers now? We are counting about 23 APC governors we have. And he even said that more are still coming to join them. For that reason, they've also shifted the Congress of the party till December to open grants, open room for more people who are also willing to come and join. Though we don't want to have a one-party state, because that will not be good for our democracy. We must have a viral, a strong opposition that can also put those who are in power on their toes, that can also serve like a watchdog. We can't have a one-party state, but whether we like it or not, we can see from all indications that recently about 4 senators, they come from the PDP to really the APC. Even in the House of Reps, the number keeps. Now we have about 72 senators out of 109 in the Senate. That is more than absolute majority for the Regional Progressive Congress. But then we must be careful not to eventually turn our country into one. Because democracy, the beauty of democracy, is to also have people like a shadow government that can really say, no, Mr. President, what we are doing in this regard is wrong. Please, this is the way it must be done. And whether we like it or not, the president has the final say to determine who will run with him come 2027, if eventually he also win that ticket. Because already the president has not even come out to say, I'm running.
He's running.
It is just the party members that are endorsing him that, is our candidate, until there is a formal Congress of the party, convention rather, national convention, where it is declared that, these are candidates and is a flag bearer. We can still say that President Tinubu is a candidate of the ruling party. Even for now, we can't say that.
Okay, I'm glad that you talked about the issue of the one-party system, because I was going to touch on that. But the group has also announced a consultation across states and zones. So should Nigerians expect a new political alliance come 2027? Is this more about internal reform within the APC, or is it something new or something novel?
It's already brewing. That they call it coalition, they call it collate, they call it coalition, is already brewing, particularly with the ADC, that's the African Democratic Congress. It is not a new party per se, but because of the political bigwigs that have decided to now turn the APC as the most beautiful bride now in the political space. So we can't rule that out. And it's looking more like a third force come 2027 presidential. That's why you see the political bigwigs. Now, even those from the PDP, that we consider as the most viral opposition party, have also dumped that party, to find a new bride in African Democratic Congress. So whether we like it or not, the way this election is looking like is looking like APC, ADC, and even Labour Party. I don't really see the PDP, really in this game in 2027. But we will see APC with a strong force. We will see ADC, that's the African Democratic Congress, and even the Labour Party will show a significant presence in that election, even more, because what is left of the PDP? How many governors left? How many senators left? All of them have decided to jump ship for a reason best known to them. I don't know why they are jumping ship, but most of them, and more, according to what we heard, are still coming. Recently, they lost Delta State to APC. They lost Akwa Ibom State to APC. And those are the governors. And the governors are like the leaders of the party in their respective states. So what is left of how many governors left in the PDP?
Okay, permit me to deviate a little. You mentioned the ADC, right? And there's a bit of a dramatic turn of event, within that party, where we see the old members of the party questioning the new intake. Well, what do you make of that?
That's why, the foundation of the way, let me just quickly go back to 2015, when the CPC, ANPP, ANC, that's African National Congress, and even a faction of the ABGA, when they came together to form All Progressive Congress, there was no hanky-panky, there was no rancor per se. All of them came together because they already had a predetermined decision that Muhammadu Buhari would be a candidate. Though they still held the national convention where there were other candidates, that ran against Buhari, but eventually they made up their mind. But in this game of ADC, of course, we are aware that Vice President Atiku Abubakar is not giving up. We are aware that even former governor of Rivers State and former Minister of Transportation, Mr. Rotimi Amechi, is also nursing that ambition. We are also aware that, of course, Governor Seyi Makinde still remains in the PDP. He has also declared interest to also run. Mr. Peter Obi is also there. Peter Obi is of the Labour Party. He has made it clear that I will run on the platform of the Labour Party. But already recently, Professor Jerry Ghana, one of the leaders of the PDP, has asked him to return to the party because they saw Peter Obi as someone who can also make a very good impact in that election because of what he did in 2023, coming from nowhere. He came third, but he had, I think, about 6.2 million or 6.3 million votes in that election. And that was a very strong signal that Peter Obi had at that election. And I'm not surprised that the PDP are now even telling him to also return to the party. So whether we like it or not, we're also likely to see ADC, if they are not being careful as regards who will get our tickets. And whether we like it or not, the PDP also recently said they're also going to zone the presidential ticket to the south because that was the mistake they made in 2023 by giving it to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. I'm not saying he doesn't have the right to contest, but that the belief in the political cycle is the north will do 8 years, the south will do 8 years. President Tinubu, if he complete by 2027, he will have done 4 years of that 8 years. So why was Atiku given that ticket? that has been an history. But whether we like it or not, we'll still make a reference to that. And that's why the PDP is even saying that we will welcome a return of Peter Obi. But time will tell if Peter Obi will eventually yield to that request from the PDP to return to the party, and whether the Labour Party will also allow him to go and run on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. All
right, political affairs analyst Taiwo Olakpade, thank you so much for joining us and discussing the political landscape of Nigeria. And as always, I'd like to say that we'll see how these things turn out.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
All right, it's time now to go on a short break. You're still live with us on the news. And when we come back, we've got more stories. You stay with us.